November 24, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving. On a routine flight from Portland to Seattle, a man in his mid-40s, wearing a dark suit and a tie, sits quietly in his seat. He orders a bourbon and soda. He looks like any other businessman on his way home for the holidays, but he isn't. This man, who gave the name Dan Cooper, was about to commit one of the most audacious, daring, and infamous crimes in American history. He would hijack a plane, extort a fortune, and then leap into the freezing darkness, vanishing so completely that he became more of a myth than a man. This is the story of D.B. Cooper, America's only unsolved skyjacking. A ghost who boarded a plane and simply ceased to exist. The crime was elegant in its simplicity. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper handed a note to a flight attendant. Thinking it was just his phone number, she slipped it into her purse. He leaned closer and said, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." The note was polite but firm. He demanded $200,000 in cash, the equivalent of over $1.5 million today, and for parachutes. To prove he wasn't bluffing, he calmly opened his briefcase, revealing a terrifying mess of red wires and sticks of dynamite. The flight crew didn't panic. They relayed the demands. The airline's president agreed instantly, telling the FBI that getting the passengers off the plane safely was the only priority. The plane circled for 2 hours while authorities on the ground scrambled to gather the cash, all unmarked $20 bills, and the parachutes. They landed in Seattle, the passengers were released, and Cooper's demands were met. He had the money, he had the plane, and now he gave his final, bizarre set of instructions. He ordered the plane to take off again, flying low and slow towards Mexico City. This was the genius of Cooper's plan. He had chosen a Boeing 727 specifically for its unique feature, a staircase in the tail that could be opened mid-flight. Shortly after 8 p.m., somewhere between Seattle and Reno over the rugged, forested terrain of southwestern Washington, D.B. Cooper did the impossible. He lowered the aft stairs, and with the wind roaring at nearly 200 miles per hour and temperatures far below freezing, he stepped off the plane with the money strapped to his body and leapt into the abyss. The two fighter jets that were secretly tailing the 727 saw nothing. It was a stormy, pitch-black night with zero visibility. When the plane finally landed in Reno, the stairs were down, and D.B. Cooper was gone. The largest and longest manhunt in FBI history began immediately. They combed the vast wilderness below his likely jump path. They questioned hundreds of suspects. The police sketch of the calm man in a suit and sunglasses became an American icon. But they found nothing. No body, no parachute, no money. The FBI analyzed every piece of evidence left on the plane. They found 8 cigarette butts of a specific brand. They found his black clip-on tie. Decades later, a citizen science group did a particle analysis on that tie and found traces of pure, unalloyed titanium, a rare metal primarily used in the aerospace industry at the time, suggesting Cooper may have been an engineer or a manager at a high-tech facility, possibly even Boeing itself. But for years, the case was completely cold. D.B. Cooper had become a folk hero, a symbol of rebellion against the system. Many believed he had gotten away with it, living out his days on a beach somewhere. Then, in 1980, 9 years after the jump, a breakthrough. An 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was vacationing with his family along the Columbia River when he found 3 rotting bundles of cash buried in a sandbar. The FBI rushed to the scene. They carefully separated the deteriorated bills and checked the serial numbers. It was a perfect match. They had found nearly $6,000 of D.B. Cooper's ransom money. But this discovery didn't solve the mystery, it deepened it. The location was miles away from Cooper's probable landing zone. The way the bundles were still held together by rubber bands suggested they hadn't been scattered in the jump, but had been deposited there whole. The most likely theory, the money had washed down the river from a location upstream. This strongly supported what the FBI had suspected all along. D.B. Cooper never made it. He likely died in the jump, his body and the rest of the money lost forever in the vast, unforgiving wilderness. In 2016, the FBI officially closed the active investigation into the D.B. Cooper case. After 45 years, no one was ever charged. His true identity remains unknown. Did he die in the fall? Or did he pull off the perfect crime, cleverly planting a small portion of the money to throw investigators off his trail? The evidence points to a tragic end, but the legend points to a man who simply flew away. He became a ghost, a question mark, a testament to the idea that just once, maybe someone really did get away with it. What do you think happened to DB Cooper? Let me know your theory in the comments. And if you enjoy a good mystery, be sure to like and subscribe to the Curozone. Stay curious.